Alright, now that we know how to do bakasana, we're going to see if we can take it one step further and figure out how to jump into it. So, you might be thinking, I don't know about that, Paul. And if I were to say, okay, just go for it, just jump into the pose, then you probably have a good point that maybe it's not time for that yet. Because if I told you to just jump into the pose and you were gung-ho enough to give it a shot, what would probably happen, at least in the beginning before you figured it out, is something like what happened when I first started to work on it, which is something like this. Okay, here goes. Whoa, whoa! Oh, shoot, alright. Why didn't that work? Okay, maybe if I bring my knees... Oh. Well, okay, that's not really working very well, is it? But maybe I can give you a bit of a safer way to work on this pose. Okay, so, in the beginning, instead of making your goal jumping really high and then bringing your knees down, instead, you can think about keeping your hips low when you jump into it. So what that looks like is more like this. Okay? It's soft and it's balanced. But, again, that can still be a little bit tricky in the beginning. It's just nice to realize that you don't need to jump very high. So, what we're going to do is figure out what that movement is. What is it that I'm doing when I'm jumping like that? Quite simple. I'm bringing my shoulders forward as my elbows bend. And that brings the weight onto my hands so that when my knees come up, I'm in control of it. But you don't need to go very far in order to get a sense of that movement. In order to go into bakasana, we usually come here and then just lean forward with the feet on the floor. Well, what I'd like you to think about doing is missing out the little pause there. You notice that as I bent my elbows, placed my knees in, I got a sense of them first, and then I started to go. Instead, try doing the same thing but all at once. So bending the elbows, leaning, and continuing to lean and not stopping. If that works, then all you have to do is step your feet back a little bit, maybe an inch, maybe two, and again do the same thing. Exhale with the elbow, inhale, lean and don't stop. That work? Okay. Go a little further back. Exhale, bend the elbows, inhale, lean, now you have to hop a little bit. Does that work? You go a little further. And each time, going a little bit further, you'll start to get a little bit more of a sense of how that little hop can take you into it. The movement's exactly the same. So if you can figure that out, then eventually you can go back further and further, and the next thing you know, you're here. Well, if you want to learn how to jump really high into a pose, which isn't really important, it will work on that another time. But starting low and just slowly taking your feet a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further back each time once you've got a sense of how to get in the movement without stopping. Because what you're doing here is you're just taking a little bit of momentum and not losing it as you go. Learning how to control your body's movement. And once you learn to do that, then you can take a little bit more and a little bit more and a little more. And you'll still stay in control of it. And that's bakasana.